Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Transfer Tuesday webinar today. We are happy to have a special guest. Before I introduce them, I just wanted to quickly introduce Amy, Jordan, and myself. We're counselors / academic advisors with the UH Mānoa campus, and Amy's with the Manoa campus, and Jordan and I are with the Leeward Community College campus. This seminar is open to all UHCC students, and we hope that you find this today's seminar interesting. We do have a chat function box that you can go ahead and chat any questions you may have throughout the session, and then one of us will be facilitating that chat. I'd like to introduce Dr. Marcus Wessendorf. He's from the UH Mānoa Theatre and Dance departments. And second, we will have Dr. Amy Schiffner from the Interdisciplinary Studies program. So before we start, I just wanted to introduce Amy McKee, who's from UH Mānoa, to speak a little bit about Manoa and Ka'iei'e.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you all for joining us today. We're so excited to have you and wanted to share some information about UH Mānoa before we start. So UH Mānoa was founded in 1907 and is considered a land, sea, space, and sun grant institution. We offer over 100 undergraduate degrees for students to choose from, as well as many graduate and professional degrees, including law, medicine, business, social work, education, and engineering. We are the flagship campus within the University of Hawaii system, a highly ranked Research 1 institution, NCAA Division I school, and we strive towards being a native Hawaiian place of learning. If you are thinking about transferring to UH Mānoa within the next 1 to 2 years, we'd love for you to consider joining the Ka'iei'e program. The Ka'iei'e program is a partnership between UH Mānoa and the community colleges, and we have transfer specialists at each of the campuses to help students transfer smoothly and efficiently to UH Mānoa. We also provide proactive academic advising, waiving the $70 application fee, provide students the option to take UH Mānoa classes while you're earning your associate's degree, and you get to register early in your first semester at Manoa. The program is free to join and open to any UH Community College student who has at least 24 transferable level credits, at least a 2.0 GPA, and having at least one more semester remaining at the community college. So we're currently signing up students this semester who are applying to transfer for spring 22 or later. If you'd like more information about the Ka'iei'e program, I'll drop some info into the chat, and you can also message me directly. All right, and without further ado, I'll turn over to our first speaker of today, Dr. Marcus Wessendorf.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Marcus Wessendorf. I'm the chair of the Department of Theatre and Dance. Before I start with this presentation, I would like to let you know that our department has a strong history of community college students transferring into our theatre and dance program. And I think it's particularly students from Leeward and Wynwood that have found their way into our undergraduate degree programs over the years. So we have a number of programs, the BA in theater, a BA in dance, a BFA in dance, and we also have a minor in dance and a minor in theater that might perhaps be less interesting to you. I also have to say before I start, so the information that I'm going to present is the information as it's still current with regard to our programs, but we are going through a major overhaul of our curriculum and also our Kennedy Theatre season right now. Last year, our department, actually the faculty of our department, drafted and passed an action plan. We very much are currently trying to recenter our curriculum and our dance and theater productions around Hawaii and the Pacific. And we are making a very strong concerted effort to really turn our department into a genuine place of Hawaiian learning. So the information that I'm going to give you in the following few minutes is basically the information that's still officially in our catalog, but there will be some changes to it in the near future. So let's start with the BA in theater. Also, before I start, so what's important to know, of course, is that all of your courses that you're already taking in your current community college, any theater dance courses that articulate to Mnoa, of course, will count towards your degree requirements at UH Mānoa once you transfer. So our BA in theater as a degree is designed for students with a broad interest in theater and allows maximum flexibility for satisfying requirements in areas of greatest interest. Incoming students may declare a BA major in theater on their university application. So at this point, you must complete 42 credit hours, and they're usually kind of determined in consultation with an advisor and based on your interests within theater, while also fulfilling the broad-based requirements that we have in the areas of acting, directing, theater history, Asian theater, theater for young audiences, design and technical theater, as well as Hana Keaka, Hawaiian medium theater. So right now at this point, we just have a BA in theater, which is of course a generalist degree. However, you know, whatever your interests are with regard to theater, you can kind of satisfy that kind of curiosity. If you're interested in design, of course, you can kind of take design courses. If you're interested in acting, of course, you can perform in shows, etc. So part of the curricular overhaul that we are working on right now is actually the creation of 2 new BFA tracks in theater. One BFA actually in design, and another BFA for acting in theater. In theater, okay, it's a BFA in theater for theater, screen, and new media. So that's basically something that we're kind of working on right now. Also because we always have a very strong interest of film students from the Academy for Creative Media in our programs. This is just, you know, a rough breakdown of our current course requirements. I'm not going to bore you with what Theater 240 or 311 or 312, etc. means, but you can tell that we have, that we offer courses in Hawaiian, Asian, and or Pacific theater. We do have courses that deal with theory or history or dramatic literature. We also, of course, you know, have courses that are kind of performance specific. We offer courses in acting, voice and or movement, directing or playwriting, design or technical theater, and theater for young audiences. So this is basically, you know, basically as a BA student, you would have to dip into all of these different areas. But of course, you could kind of focus on those areas that interest you more than perhaps other focus areas. So the 6 credits that you see here that we require with regard to Theater 200 or 400, these are basically kind of practicum credits. So these are credits that you would get for, you know, working in the costume shop, being a member of a running crew, being on stage, working on publicity for specific shows, etc. So what we require you to submit is basically, and that actually depends on, so a lot would kind of depend on what kind of theater experience, theater and dance experience you already kind of bring with you. So I'm actually not totally sure to what extent we do require, you know, portfolio, etc., from students transferring from any of the community colleges. My assumption is, and I may be wrong about this, that if you already have plenty of dance or theater credits under your belt, that we may probably waive some of those requirements, but that would require further investigation on my part. So we also have a BA in dance. So different from the theater side, we have a BA and a BFA in dance. And it's kind of similar. The BA in dance is also designed for students with a broad interest in dance and also allows a maximum flexibility to satisfy requirements in areas of greatest interest. So all of this is kind of similar in terms of, the course requirements are kind of similar. And again, similar to the various different offerings that we have in theater, in dance, we offer choreography, dance culture and performance studies, technical theater production, which is an area where kind of theater and dance degrees and students kind of overlap. And of course, our dance program, I think, is probably one of the most diverse programs with regard to its offerings in the United States. I mean, from ballet to modern to Okinawan, Korean, Tahitian, hip hop, and Amy Schiffner may kind of supplement that information. So it's the scope and range of different dance techniques and cultures and traditions that you would explore in our BA in dance program is really quite impressive. And again, you would be encouraged and also to a certain extent required to participate in student choreographed footholds, which we have twice a year, kind of a dance concert that happens in our lab theater. Not right now because of COVID. Of course, all of this is happening remotely online, but hopefully, in fall, we will be back in our actual spaces. And it's the same thing. You would have a dance faculty undergraduate advisor. So I have to say, I think that the way advising works at UH is you usually actually consult two advisors. For the more specific theater and dance courses, you would schedule a meeting with our undergraduate advisors. Yeah, right now we have an undergraduate advisor in theater and we have one in dance. And you basically kind of schedule a meeting with those advisors to get a better idea of the, upcoming trajectory, next, 3 or 4 semester trajectory of dance or theater classes that are being offered. But of course, you should also meet with the more general college-wide advisor for the more general outlook. So the theater and dance undergraduate advisor are, of course, very knowledgeable about theater and dance courses, but not really so much about the general ed requirements that you would also have to fulfill at UH Mānoa. And again, this is just kind of a list of the course requirements. So you can see, it really kind of includes ballet, modern dance, Asian Pacific dance forms, now also hip hop. We also kind of, encourage students to take electives in Asian and Pacific performance, ethnomusicology, Asian theater, anthropology, Hawaiian studies, Pacific Island studies, or ethnic studies. Yeah, so this is very, very broad, very diverse, very multicultural. Okay. So there are also other requirements. So BA dance students are actually required to participate in at least one UH dance production per year. So that can be the student dance concerts, the footholds concerts that happen twice a year. But it can also be, for one of our main stage dance concerts that happen once a year and are basically directed by a dance faculty member. But of course, you can also work as a performer or crew member on shows generally. BA majors are required to register for and attend at least one technique class per semester. So again, graduation requirements include the submission of a portfolio of student work, assessment essay, exit interview, and completion of a survey. So that's basically kind of the BA in dance. Then we have the BFA in dance, which is more specifically focused on dance and choreography. So this is a program that's designed for students who wish to pursue professional careers as dancers, teachers, and or choreographers. Admission to this program is by audition only. That's, of course, that's different from the BA. Incoming students may declare a BA major in dance on the university application, then audition for the BFA degree during the spring semester of the first year at UH Mānoa if they're interested in the BFA degree program. Yeah, so I think, so again, if you're transferring, it probably depends a lot on, you know, what kind of dance classes you've already taken, you know, what your record of classes is with which you're going to transfer to our department. And again, you know, so again, I'm not going over the individual course requirements here. So again, you cover a whole gamut of different dance traditions, but there's a stronger focus overall on technique and performance. So in that sense, I think the actual you know, performance and technique requirements, they're of course stronger than for the generalist BA degree in dance. Even though, of course, you would take the same classes, but you would take more dance-specific classes as part of this degree. Basically, because you need to get 20 more credit hours under your belt for this degree. So there's a stronger focus on dance and choreography. So BFA dance students are required to participate in at least 2 UH dance productions per year. At least one must be in a performance capacity. So prior to the senior project, BFA students must audition choreography for fall or spring student concert by the 6th semester of the dance major. BFA majors are also required to register for technique course every semester. Yeah, so those requirements are just stricter and more demanding than they are for the BA. Yeah, so graduation requirements include the submission of a portfolio of student work, again, assessment essay, exit interview, and completion of a survey. And I just saw that there are a few questions in the chat. Let me just kind of see. What kind of electives will be available for social science of oceans? And are the core courses offered on a schedule that facilitates completing the program in only 2.5 years? That is,
so Marcus, I think that question is actually going to be directed to our next presenter. Yeah, yeah, you're good though. Thank you for tracking that.
okay. Oops, sorry. And of course, we also have a minor in dance. Yeah, that's just kind of, you know, 15 credit hours.
Sorry.
And we also have a minor in theater. Oops. You know, so that's basically, I mean, that's easy. I mean, you know, you can always kind of, I mean, if your primary decision is to enroll in a different program and but you have an interest in theater or dance, of course, you can kind of enroll, you can become a minor in theater or dance in our program. If there are any questions, please put them into the chat or the Q&A function.
So, Doctor, do you see the question in the chat? Are students able to double major?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we highly encourage actually double majors. So students are able to double major in theater and dance, but of course we also have many theater and dance students that are, you know, theater and nursing, dance and anthropology, So that is basically quite common, I would say, within our department. I actually I usually encourage students to double major anyway, because I think it always makes sense to study, one area where you feel that might actually, lead to a safe, reliable income flow in the future. And then, of course, to also have a second major in an artistic field that you feel deeply passionate about. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong about kind of combining both. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I highly encourage students to go for a double major.
I hope you don't mind, but I do have a question that came up when I was working with a student. You know how in the action plan, there's movement towards Hawaiian Asian Pacific?
Yes.
If there are students now, they're 18 years old and they're doing all their gen ed to transfer to dance, specifically dance, do you think they still can sort of specialize in modern ballet, hip hop, not Hawaiian Asian Pacific? Is that a possibility? I know it's so hard to predict, but
I mean, I have to say, even though we are going to refocus and recenter, that doesn't mean that we're going to phase out any of the other positions.
Okay, that's good to know.
A shift in emphasis, and we will kind of throw more of our resources towards Hawaii Pacific. But of course, any student with an interest in ballet, I don't know, ballroom, modern, what have you, of course, is still welcome. And of course, can take those classes in the future.
Thank you. That's good to know.
But thank you for the question.
Okay.
Any other questions before I conclude for today?
Yeah, I would just love to hear kind of what your students are doing post-graduation, or if you've heard any, they've graduated from our program and are now doing this, any kind of anecdotal things would be great.
I think our students really work in a broad range of areas. Of course, education is a really kind of common area. Many of our former students have their own dance companies on the continent, but also kind of within the state. Students work, I think education basically, and and working kind of in the field are very common. But of course, students also work in journalism, media, many other fields. Actually, students or alums often work in a completely different area. We sometimes hear back from them how their dance or theater experience still positively inspires the work in a completely different area, often decades later. So it's so in that sense, I think it's a really important, nurturing, inspiring field to pursue. Even if career-wise you may end up in a completely different, in a completely different track.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you. And we did get one question in while you were answering that last one. So the question is, are there any scholarships or research opportunities for theater dance undergraduate students? Are there any that are specifically available for transfer students?
I don't think we have any specific scholarships for transfer students, but UH Mānoa has this very strong Europe program for undergraduate research projects. There's actually a lot of funding, and our students, often with the help of their faculty mentors, apply successfully for that kind of funding. So there is funding available, but it's not specifically earmarked for transfer students.
Great, thank you. And there's a link in the chat in case folks want to check that out.
And I can put my email address into the chat too, just in case. anyone wants to follow up.
So, Doctor, there's one more question an attendee asked. It says, are there any opportunities through theater and dance department that can assist students interested in pursuing acting, production, dance professionally, such as internships or assistant positions for larger scale entertainment productions?
So I have to say, I'm probably more familiar with the theater side than the dance side. On the theater side, I mean, there are plenty of opportunities to be in local theater productions. I mean, so basically, talking about the context outside of Kennedy Theater and UH Mānoa, many of our students perform, and they also dance actually in, local theater, musical theater productions, dance concerts at Hawaii Theater, Diamond Head Theater, Manoa Valley Theater, Kumukahua Theater. We also have students, and that's probably more true for our acting students. They work on film sets, Magnum PI, Hawaii 5.0. So on the acting side, since we have a strong focus on TV and film acting, the professor teaching that often brings in one of the two major local casting directors. and those people then often, establish kind of connections to ongoing TV or film projects on island. So absolutely, yes, there are kind of opportunities in that area. I also have to say we strongly collaborate with the Academy for Creative Media, and whenever they, I usually kind of forward their casting calls for film projects, often student-directed film projects. So our students usually also kind of perform in locally produced and directed films.
So I hope you don't mind, Doctor, but if I can speak on the dance side, so as a former UH Mānoa student, dance was not my major nor minor, but I did take ballet and Okinawan dance. And the connections that you make, which Dr. Wesendorf is talking about, that coconut wireless kind of connections, the non-written, informal volunteer opportunities, your teachers and fellow students, they happen to be connected in the community. So that's how I had opportunity to do Okinawan dance later beyond the classroom. So it's the networking, get to know your professors. They're so connected into the community, and especially dance, it's not necessarily advertised anywhere, but just through networking, people getting to know you, your talent. So I just want to encourage you to go to Manoa, talk to your fellow classmates, talk to professors, because they're so deeply connected in the community.
And I also wanted to point to Amy Schiffner's, post in the chat. So the Waikiki Legends hires almost exclusively dance majors.
Yes.
While they are in school. So there are plenty of opportunities. Any more questions? If not, thanks for having me. And you can always kind of contact me under the email address that I put into the chat.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and transition. We can go ahead and transition. Doctor, I know you do have to leave, so thank you for leaving your email for us.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for attending our Transfer Tuesday webinar series session today. Our next session is going to be on February 16th with Public Health and Life Sciences. So please feel free to join us for that session if you are interested in those majors. And then we'll stay on if anybody has additional questions. But thank you so much, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.